And if you guys are into World Wrestling Entertainment, I was gonna say Federation, but World Wrestling Entertainment, go ahead and check out my homeboy man who just started this page for wrestling content, Wrestling the Marks, where he's posting up a whole lot of just wrestling news, humor, and entertainment. From the dark side of the ring, from the old school highlights of the Hardys and Dudleys being going through tables to Kurt Angle and his obsession with the Percocets and stuff like that, to a lot of these new dudes and seeing how they react to CM Punk coming back into the WWE almost after a decade later, to just a whole bunch of, new wrestlers and where they at now and stuff like that, from the WCW days, from the WWE to even a little bit of AEW, anything wrestling. He's pretty much covering that, and he's doing it, like I said, you got when Divas used to be, the shit. And now I don't know where it stands at now, but just going through his channel, I should say page, I'm sorry, and seeing where the Divas at now is greatly letting me know and informing me, but also just getting a good sense of humor on some of this stuff. What worked, back then couldn't work today, clearly, because it was a whole different, time. But definitely go ahead and give him a check out, man. This is my homeboy. He's starting it. I'm out here supporting him. I'm letting him know, hey, man, I got your back. Go ahead and do it. I grew up watching wrestling. He, grew up watching wrestling. Most of us did. Some of us stopped due to maybe the storylines and stuff like that. But like I said, go ahead, give him a look, give him a follow, let him know Class sent you, and just see his content and let him know what you think about it. So I just seen the first episode of the Yu Yu Hakusho live action on Netflix, and I'm just here to say, without a doubt, episode one was definitely good. There was no filler, there was no fluff. It was everything was fluid, everything was nice, and the characters or already being established the proper way. Like I said, I haven't seen the anime in so long, but kind of watching the live action, you could see that they took bits and pieces from the anime and translated well through live action. Um, all the characters establishments were great, and the actors and actresses that played these characters in the first episode nailed it. The direction of the first episode seems good. There was nothing that was kind of like, this might not work, this might just be for the sake of the episode, you know what I mean? But it looked good, it looked great. A lot of fighting, of course, which was good, which was great actually, because it was like, okay, this calls for a fight because X, Y, and Z. It wasn't just because of for the sake of just throwing some fighting in and explosions. I felt like they really watched the anime piece by piece and was like, we'll incorporate some of this, we'll incorporate some of that, we'll do this, we'll do that. From the beginning of it, it was just like straight go. And I like shows like that where we're not getting, a little bit of fluff and then a little bit of an origin. They were able to, like, in most shows, started off where it's like this, then you go maybe 4 hours back, that ties in. But even those 4 hours back was just so smooth, so fast paced, and so fluid. I'm sitting there like, damn, like, is this going to be the end of the first episode and we're going to get the second episode? But the first episode was, it felt like almost a movie, maybe like 45 minutes to maybe an hour, and it was just told so great. I was really like more excited to see Kuwabara, and I'm going to speak about that once the episodes progress. But just seeing Kuwabara in live action, the actor really did capture his essence, and it shows that it doesn't matter if he was tall in the anime and big, that when you get a good actor that could portray that character, he brought him to life. Urameshi was how he was in the anime. Botan likewise. Enma, the that guy, he was there. And I understand for the sake of this, they kind of kept it just Enma dealing with all of the scrolls of like life and stuff like that. Because I remember he had like workers and stuff like that, and it was a little bit more like comic relief. But I think this was more set in a serious tone. So they had Enma kind of be like the guy who, in this case, looks at all the scrolls for new life, and are they going to go to hell, are they going to go to heaven, and just depending on like their timeline, which I thought that was a cool tidbit how they gave that to Enma. And just seeing a lot of these characters come was definitely interesting. because I'm over here sitting back thinking like, okay, are they gonna mess this one up? I don't want to get my hopes up, but no, they nailed it out the park for the first episode. And just having that sense of direction, I could really sit here and say, I don't feel like we're gonna have the dark tournament in this season, which I was praying not to have. I really wanted it to focus more on the cast, what's going on in the world, and the demon world to kind of introduce that. And then we could talk about tournaments and stuff like that. But I'm really digging this storytelling of Yu Yu Hakusho. You could tell they're pulling a lot from just the anime to tell their story, using a lot of those big pivotal moments to tell the story, which is good, which is great, and these actors and actresses are just nailing it out the park. I'm watching it obviously English translation, but it's not really bothering me. I'm not really tripping on the ADR dub, you know. So I can't wait to watch episode 2. I was like, yo, this is done. I gotta tell people how I feel about it right now for the spur of the moment because it's crazy. It was just that good, just that great, and to see Kuwabara, um, I just have a feeling like seeing Kuwabara's character and how we're gonna, get to understand him. It fits for that first episode. You know what I mean? Once we dive more into his character, but we got to see Kurama, Hiei, and they're already teaming up and they're already doing a lot of things and stuff like that at the end. And I think the end really is pushing for the next episode, which is good. Nothing on a cliffhanger, just like a continuation. So I know when I'm gonna watch episode 2, I'm expecting a continuation of what I just recently saw with episode 1. So there's no disconnect. It's like weeks went by, months went by. I feel like the next day. You know what I'm saying? We did get to see Smile Bomb, which I enjoyed and I loved. It was a little bit of a newer version, the Japanese version, but it felt new, maybe like a remaster song. But hey, man, that's what I really wanted. I really wanted them to do that correct, do that right, and they did. I didn't really see no other Easter eggs, but just a lot of things that they took from that anime that made the anime great because it's a gem after all. And I think um overall it was great. It was cool, but that's just my feels, you could say, my take, my obviously opinion on just the first episode. Great. I'm impressed. And I just can't wait to tell you what I think of episode 2. I'm not going to go into too much of the story because, the show is currently right now out. So I really want people to, go ahead and check that out on Netflix and support it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Yeah, like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys definitely in episode 2. This is Clash Master signing out. Peace.